Can ask his ma, he got slapped for free. Diddly bang, that's crooked our teeth. Take a look and think why the up was the P. Just pray to my God that it's never free.
This was the most requested video in the GCOR Discord server. Make sure you join if you haven't already using the link in description. Make sure you like, share and subscribe to the channel for all things GCOR GT. Greatest rivalries in GCOR GT history. A rivalry is defined as competition for the same objective, and in GCOR GT, that objective is always the same. Every driver and team hits the track with the aim of being the best on the day, and over the course of the season. But the only issue is that the word best is singular, there can only be one. Rivalries can make drivers stronger, giving them strength to go on to bigger challenges. But they can also weaken and tarnish a driver's reputation, limit their confidence, and hamper their legacy. Rivalries are often the defining part of a career, and this is no different in GCOR GT. When naming a great driver, many are quickly able to associate them with their most well-known rival. Similar to Senna and Prost, Hunt and Lauda, Hamilton and Rosberg, GCOR GT has had its own share of great rivalries, which have really pushed drivers and teams to their limit. This is the greatest rivalries in GCOR GT history. I hope you enjoy. One of the more short-lived rivalries, Clone and Atomics, began GT3 Season 1 as teammates at airspeed. They appeared to be one of the power teams on the grid, and at the conclusion of round 1 at Autopolis, they were clearly the front runners. The team locked out the front row in qualifying, with Atomics on pole and Clone in second, before taking a double podium in the race and sprint, with Atomics sweeping the weekend. While on the outside, all seemed good for Hurricane's team. Internally, there was some strife, mainly caused by the two making contact, sending Clone off, and leading to Atomics taking the win. The team seemed to be unfazed by this sudden tension, as Clone claimed his first and only race win in a rain-affected race at Fuji in round 2 and Atomics winning the sprint, but the carnage in that race, in which both Clone and Atomics were involved, was so drastic that Clone decided to switch teams. We will never have much of an idea of how serious the bad blood between the two was, but it must have been very great for them to have separated. From there, Atomics would go on to score one more race win and sprint win, before leaving the series after round 8 at Austria. He returned to airspeed for one round at Watkins Glen in GT3 Season 2 before taking a near 2-year hiatus and returning in the GT Pro Series for Midgetmat's Team Alpine BWT Nismo GT7. Clone would move to Earnhardt Enterprises alongside Car Freak, scoring 3 more podiums at Watkins Glen, Brands Hatch and Catalunya, finishing 4th in the standings. This was a very quick but intense rivalry, and it served as a reminder that sometimes, drivers need to be in different teams in order to avoid conflicts.
I must say, Thomas is pretty strong early on in the lap. He's showing it again, he's beginning to catch Clone. Could he catch him like he here, turn 10? Oh, they made contact! And the Mercedes have come together this time, and it's cost Clone the lead. He's also lost second place. My goodness. And the teammates just can't stop coming together. So look at it from a Thomas point of view. See how he's catching Clone here into what turn 10, critical braking zone. I see the Thomas hit the brakes too late, gets into Clone, punts him off the track there. And Thomas takes the lead, but he's got a 3-second penalty, as you can see on the screen.
While it lacked ferocity off track, Cam and 7 Steps on-track battles were nothing short of superb. Week after week in GT Elite Season 1, we would see the two drivers duking it out. Each driver had their strong suits. 7 Steps was a master qualifier and with 5 poles, is ranked joint second all-time in GCOR GT. Meanwhile, Cam had arguably the greatest racecraft that GCOR GT has ever seen, and was hard to beat come the race. This made for excellent matchups, where 7 steps would usually just edge Cam to pole position, before Cam would fare far better when the lights went out. This reached its climax at Watkins Glen, where 7 steps and Cam were on the front row, and coming down the straight, the two came together and collided with each other and the barriers, with the entire field passing them by and watching the two rivals eradicate both their chances of victory that day. While Cam would end the season as champion, recording 3 wins, 7 steps continued to struggle to find the victory, despite netting pole 5 times and setting 3 fastest laps and 2 sprint fastest laps. A combination of strategic errors and bad luck plagued him, but he did eventually get that win in the final round, of course, from pole position. He ended the season 3rd in the standings and has since retired, leaving many asking what this rivalry could have become in the future. But for one brief moment in Watkins Glen, the two great powers clashed, and when they did, it sent shockwaves throughout the series.
Here comes Cam though, to reply, he just misses. He just misses out, and 7 steps is on pole again for the 2nd time. Let's see, 7 steps is next up. 7 steps twice on pole, and he's on to provisional pole.
It is Jokas on pole for the time being.
Cam is purple though. Cam is purple. Let's see what he can do. Only a couple corners left. 7 steps retakes provisional pole, but can do enough here. This is gonna be close. All at the line, and he's not done it. 7 steps is on pole again. Done, and look at that. 7 steps already behind. It looked like he was doing well then. Here comes his teammate now, Jokas, to attack. Valley's up into 4th in the meantime. Good start from him, and oh gosh! There goes Cam, and 7 steps. Big crash. Big crash. Big crash in the back. Let's see. Let's analyze for damage here.
The debut of Lightning in GT3 Season 2 for Triumph Racing put the entire field on notice, as he was easily the fastest driver in the series around that time. Few could really race with Lightning in the middle period of that season, as he simply outmatched everyone with his pace. As moves began to be made in the mid-season transfer window, the shock move was that of Driver H leaving Airspeed to join Lightning at Triumph. At this time, Driver H had really come into his own and was showing pace, but was still yet to pick up a victory. This led to many believing he would be nothing more than a number 2 driver behind Lightning in order to secure the Constructors' Championship. However, Driver was not going for this at all. He found another level after moving to Triumph, and at the Bathurst 150 GCOR GT's crown jewel race, Driver engaged Lightning in a fierce late race battle, and overcame his teammate to claim his first ever win. Following this, it became clear that Driver H was far from a number 2 driver at this team, and he was ready to bring the fight to Lightning for the title. The 2 drivers were levels above the rest from that point on, and for the rest of the season would not finish off the podium at all, and finished 1-2 in 5 of the last 6 rounds, with them typically trading race and sprint wins. Driver H and Lightning went into the last round at Interlagos both in the hunt for the title, with Lightning holding a 5-point lead, and Lightning's initial lead ended up being enough to secure him the title for Season 2, while Triumph Racing easily secured the Constructors' title by 97 points to GN7 in 2nd place. Honestly, this rivalry deserves a video on its own. While Lightning retired at the conclusion of the season, Driver went on to further success, with both being regarded as top 5 all-time drivers. This was the literal meaning of 2 drivers bringing the best out of each other. I'm technically cheating with this entry, but I simply could not overlook it. The saga between Chaconaz and Beast Mode is one of the greatest stories in GCOR history and easily the greatest rivalry ever in the league, period. I don't believe there to be any rivalry which has storytelling as deep as this one. This is a rivalry which built the foundations of GCOR as we know it, and I myself am honored to say that I was there for the majority of its duration. This is a rivalry so epic that it would need a multiple-part series of its own to describe. Chaconaz and Beast Mode were, in large part, the fastest drivers in GCOR during the Gen 2 era. Chaconaz at the time drove for GN7 alongside Genius, while Beast Mode drove for Rho Quadratic BMW alongside Type C, leading to this rivalry being generalized as GN7 versus Rho Quadratic or even simply as Porsche versus BMW and the German Civil War, in past articles written. If I spoke about this rivalry in full, this video would be hours long, as there are so many small twists and turns, but I will summarize it here. If you remember the story of Genius Part 1 video, you will remember I spoke about Formula Q, also known as FQ. Both Chaconaz and Beast Mode raced in FQ and had a good relationship around these times. Chaconaz and Beast Mode had been title rivals in Gen 1 of GCOR on F1 2020, and they continued this rivalry into Gen 2 on Gran Turismo Sport, again fighting for the title in a show-stopping clash of titans, with Chaconaz ultimately coming back from the death to win the title. Similarly to the previous rivalry, both drivers locked in, even leading to them not talking to each other. There were days where subliminal messages were sent back and forth, lines were drawn, and sides were picked, with some drivers siding with Chaconaz and others with Beast Mode. At the time it seemed like a full-blown war was on the horizon. The conclusion of the season mostly ended that rivalry, with Beast Mode emerging as a shadow of his former self. And as Gen 3 began, more success was awaiting Chaconaz, as he would win the Gen 2 Season 2 title, as well as 2 Gen 3 F1 titles. The rivalry was so sharp, that both parties have reportedly not spoken since that title fight, which was over 4 years ago now, a stark reminder of how much a rivalry can define relationships, build new ones, and tear old ones apart. Rivalry is a strange and powerful thing. It can push ordinary drivers to extraordinary heights, unlocking levels of performance they never knew they possessed. Yet it can also consume them, turning friends into strangers and teammates into adversaries. At its core, a rivalry is not about hatred, it is about respect. A recognition that the person alongside you, or across the grid, is the measure by which your own success is judged. Because to be a champion, you must first be tested. And there is no greater test than facing someone who wants exactly what you want, and is willing to do whatever it takes to take it from you. The drivers featured in this video shared something rare, a connection forged in fire, baptized in speed, and sealed in the memory of every fan who witnessed their battles. Some of these rivalries ended with respect, others ended in silence. But all of them left an indelible mark on GCOR GT, because rivalries are not just about the past, when in fact they are a reminder of what is possible when two drivers refuse to back down. They are the heartbeat of competition, the fuel that drives legends, and the reason we keep watching, keep believing, and keep coming back for more racing. This has been the greatest rivalries in GCOR GT history. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. See you all for the next one.